Are You Mad at Me is a picture book about childhood anxiety. If you have an anxious child in your life, this could be a great addition to your child's library. Welcome to the Kids Bookshelf. I'm Dan Skinner. Ahead, we'll sample the book and talk with the authors about the inspiration behind it. I requested and was provided with a copy of the book, but this video is not sponsored. A little bit about the authors. Cody Feder is a Chicago-based author and illustrator whose work explores big feelings, feminism, and pop culture. She wrote and illustrated the award-winning young adult graphic memoir, Dancing at the Pity Party, and made her picture book debut with Bodies Are Cool. Cody Feder is a Chicago real estate professional and social media marketing expert with a lifelong passion for mental health advocacy. Tyler and Cody are sisters who both struggle with anxiety, and they join us to talk about the children's picture book they co-authored, Are You Mad at Me? Tyler and Cody, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We're so excited.
Well, tell us about the inspiration for this book, Are You Mad at Me?
Yeah, well, the two of us both have grown up with anxiety and we still struggle with it. And I've been an author and an illustrator for several years, and I was feeling really stuck in my last book project and having a lot of anxious feelings coming up about my agent and publisher being mad at me. And I was venting about it to Cody, as I often do. And she said, fully as a joke, like, you should write a book called Are You Mad at Me? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wait, this is a thing. Like, it was like easier to generate ideas for it than for the book that I had been working on previously that I was so stressed out about. So my publisher very graciously let me pivot for a little while and bring Cody on board.
Which I fully was not expecting. I was actually just kind of teasing Tyler by saying, at this point, you might as well write a book called Are You Mad at Me? Because she was just spiraling, which, you know, they say if you spot it, you got it. So I definitely only spot it in her because I am the same exact way. And so, yeah, then you were like, wait, maybe.
Let's do this. And Cody works in real estate, so she's not, she hasn't been in this book world with me. And it just felt right for us to work on it together. It's this big thing that we have in common. And yeah, we had a lot of fun.
We really
It's
did.
been a fun process.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that process. It's always a process, just working with a co-author in general, but you're sisters. So did that relationship add a little extra dynamic into that process?
Yeah. I mean, Ty, do you want to say how it felt for you?
Yeah, I'm always wary of mixing family and work. But it's really been so seamless. We just seem to be on the same page with the story.
Literally.
Pun intended. And we would just like have these little coffee dates and we'd go to Starbucks or wherever and sit and just brainstorm, and sometimes I would draw as we were talking, and it just kind of came out. I don't know.
Yeah, we would call them our study halls. We were like, we should have a study hall tomorrow, and we would go. And I think maybe because we were sort of envisioning writing this for our younger selves, it felt like such a special thing because we were just picturing, I mean, we have so many photos of us as like little kids, like sitting together, and we've been best friends along with our younger sister just like forever. So I think just picturing that we're literally writing this to hand to our younger selves who were just really could have benefited from, you know, therapy starting younger. Now, thank goodness we are in all of that. But so yeah, it's just been like, not only is it just like a silly, fun book that we were able to put together, but we were really like, oh man, this could have like seriously helped us. And also, as we were doing this and needed to, you know, send drafts to the publisher and everything, we would start to think like, do you think the edits, like, do you think they're going to like this.
I mean,
like, we would get anxious.
It was like almost 2 on the nose.
Yeah.
How frequently we were like, are you mad at me? Are they mad at us?
And yeah, then we were like, we're on the right track. We need to just keep going with this.
It got to the point where sometimes we would get work emails from our team where it would say, I'm not mad at you as the subject line.
So yeah, that's it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been really special.
For what age group would you recommend this book?
I think we're picturing like maybe earliest elementary school. I think the official age range that it says is like 5 to 8. But it's one of those things that it's like the story at face value is just this cute little thing about an ostrich meeting different animals, but the actual message is a lot deeper than that. So I feel like even like parents or other adults who are reading it with kids would maybe feel that like message too, even though they're reading it just a little.
Yeah, and even like younger kids, like some of Tyler's illustrations, we can show like one of the pages especially is just so beautiful and intricate, and I'm just picturing little kids who don't even really understand what's going on, just looking at the pages and finding different little hidden creatures and animals throughout the forest. And so I really think, I mean, it's a cliche to say it's for all ages, but I mean, seriously, like neither of us have kids, and like it will be on my coffee table, like just as decor, just in case someone needs a little refresher. So yeah.
So it's the story about this ostrich and the people she meets along the way as she goes throughout her day. And we'll learn more about that in just a moment. But would you like to read the first part of the book for us and give us a taste of what readers are going to find here?
Sure, yeah.
Let's do it.
Opal Feather loved her long neck. It helped her reach the highest branch, spot her friends in crowds, and it looked great wrapped in her favorite scarf.
But when Opal was anxious, her neck felt as wobbly as a spaghetti noodle. Her family lovingly called this the Noodles and tried their best to help. Her mama reminded her she was brave. Her pops wrapped her in snuggly hugs. Her sisters told their silliest jokes. If only getting rid of her worries were that simple.
Today was one of Opal's favorite days of the year, the Feather family's annual soiree. Everyone pitched in to make it extra special. This year, it was Opal's job to pick up the triple-layer, double custard, beet and berry tart from Miss Peanut's bakery. The tart was a Feather family tradition. No soiree was complete without it.
Opal already felt a little noodly. Picking up the tart was a big responsibility. Step by step, she ran through the routine that helped her stay calm before doing something new and scary. She wrapped her special scarf around her neck, gave herself a pep talk in the mirror, and took 3 deep breaths. She was on her way.
And then the story takes us along that journey with her, and she tries to figure out who's mad at her and who's not.
Yeah, seriously. She's just trying to, and it's so relatable to be like, I'm just trying to get a task done here. Like, she's just trying to go help her family out, and it's those anxious thoughts that can just disrupt you trying to do a basic task. And we see that with her, and yeah, so we're so excited for people to get to read.
Yeah.
So this is something you wanted to share with young children, and it's something you wish you could have read when you were a kid. So tell us more about why writing this book was so important to you, and why you want children to get this message at an early age.
I think we sort of think of mental health struggles as being an older person's thing, at least like a teenager maybe. But Cody and I both have clinical anxiety, and we have memories from when we were, in first grade, second grade, where the anxiety we felt then felt just like what we experience now. And the context may have been something that to adults seemed very small, like finding a seat on the school bus or whatever. But the way that we experienced it ourselves was really intense and dramatic. And we didn't have the language to express it to adults. So to them, it just seemed like, oh, my kid is like, nervous. Everyone gets the jitters or whatever. But it was a lot more than that. We would have a lot of physical symptoms and headaches and stomach aches and nausea. And we just want kids who might be feeling like that to know that this is a real thing and they're not alone and it's going to be okay. And for the parents of those kids or the caretakers, whatever, the adults in their lives, to have a little bit more perspective on what their kids are experiencing and how to be a little more gentle with them.
Yeah, we were even saying, like, sometimes when you're little, the way that your anxiety or those feelings present themselves can come off as like just like bad behavior. You're not wanting to go to school. Come on, get up. It's going to be fine. Or, and these parents, just like Opal's, doing really great things like, hugging their kids, giving pep talks, their sisters, telling funny stories. Like, there are wonderful ways that parents and caretakers can support their kids, but also understanding that it doesn't just make it go away like this. And I think that was something that our parents probably like didn't quite understand. Nobody wants to go to school like when you're tired in the morning, but
Right.
Is it because you feel like you're having physical symptoms? Is it feel because you're so scared your teacher's going to be upset that you didn't do well on the test? Like there's levels of intensity. And I think if this can help sort of just be like, no, I'm feeling like this is what I'm feeling. Or
The
like
noodles.
like
Yeah.
I'm just having the noodles. Like, I don't know, the sensation, these physical symptoms that really kept us, it can feel like a lonely thing to experience when you're little and you don't understand what's going on. And you think something's wrong with me. You're like, no one believes me or whatever. So yeah,
this is like a real example of what it looks like and how it can be managed.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, stay tuned. My discussion with Tyler and Cody Feder about Are You Mad at Me continues in just a moment. I've put a link to the book in the description below for you if you'd like to pick up a copy. And if you'd like to see more videos about children's books and their authors, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and click on the bell to be notified about future programs. And thank you. Tyler and Cody, I thought it was really cute, but also very effective to have this Mel the chameleon character that you introduce at the end of the story. It invites the kids to go back through the book again and try to find him, and that's a fun activity, but also having him in there also sends a couple of very important messages. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, anxiety can be so overwhelming that it puts you into this kind of tunnel vision of just doing what you need to do to get through it. And what can result from that is that you miss a lot of things that are happening around you. So we wanted to show that while Opal was worried that everyone else was upset with her, here was this friend of hers that kept showing up all along her journey that she kept missing because she was concerned. It could easily be that the chameleon is like, are you mad at me? And she says, I was nervous. I wasn't mad at you. It's like it keeps
exactly
cycling. So we thought it would be a little fun addition to have kids be able to go back through the book and spot him.
Yeah, and just like you said, like it can, anxiety can rob you of so many things where you're like, I wasn't even aware that this whole time this thing's been happening because all I've been focused on is this. So it's just like, what are you missing? What about your day could you be like all these wonderful things that you just bypass when you're in this anxious headspace? And so it's just sort of a moment to be like, whoa, like if you spend your whole day worrying, which it doesn't mean so snap out of it, but it just means like this is just to show how real and intense this is, where you're like, we've had a character on every single page, nearly every page, that you didn't even notice because that, you were thinking, those anxious thoughts. So I'm glad that you like that, because that was just something at the end.
And I think Mel also lets them know you're not alone and that other people may be experiencing similar feelings. And so I thought that was an important message to have there. And just for fun, your cat Mitzvah makes an appearance.
Yeah, and we actually didn't mention this, but Cody's dog Georgia and our sister's dog Leo are also in the party at the end. The three of them are kind of dancing together. It was fun to put that little Easter egg, even if no one knows except for us.
Easter egg for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, as you know, with children's books, authors and illustrators often work separately, but in your case, you're both. So do you think that gives you a creative advantage?
Yeah, I think it does. I've been on multiple sides of this. I've never illustrated or written something and had someone else illustrate it, but I've illustrated other people's work before. And it's really helpful being able to do both because I'm a really visual person, and a lot of times when I'm imagining something, when I'm writing, I have like a real idea in my head of what it looks like. And so it's a fun process of being able to try to translate what I'm seeing in my head onto the page.
So a question for both of you. It sounds like you've had a lot of fun putting this book together. So do you think you might collaborate again in the future?
I'll never say never. I mean, like, it really was fun. We don't have any immediate plans, but if
people are demanding it and can't live without more collaboration, we certainly won't say no.
Yeah.
And if they need to know about how Opal's doing moving forward, we're open. But yeah, nothing planned. But yeah,
It's
this
definitely a possibility.
Yeah, this is just so special to us, and just really like feels like more than just a book. It really like captured this year together as we were doing this, and just like. Yeah, so no plans, but never say never.
Well, maybe in the sequels you could check in with Opal at different stages of her life, like Opal the teenager, to see how she's doing.
Opal.
Now she's in her 30s and she's getting kids and
midlife crisis Opal, who's like, oh my God, did I accomplish enough?
Yeah.
Well, this version of Opal is for young kids. It's the picture book, Are You Mad at Me? It's by Tyler Feder and Cody Feder. Tyler and Cody, thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you'd like to get a copy of Are You Mad at Me? I've placed a link to the book for you in the description below. Well, thank you for watching this edition of the Kids Bookshelf. And if you'd like to see more videos about children's books and their authors, be sure to like, subscribe, and click on the bell to be notified about future programs. I'm Dan Scunner. Until next time, keep sharing the gift of reading.